So welcome to Grumpy Vegan Grandad. Stop eating meat. Stop eating meat. Stop abusing animals. Dairy is disgusting. Stop eating dairy. Stop using milk. Stop eating eggs. It's abusing animals. Stop it. Stop it. It's not very powerful, is it? It's not going to turn anyone vegan, is it? Please, stop eating meat. Please. Just not there, is it? Even if I shout, stop eating meat. Nah. That's all it is. So, what do we need to do? So today I'm going to talk about action, peaceful protests, joining together, many voices coming together as one. Do peaceful protests work? Does direct action work? It must work better than stop eating meat. Stop it. A big crowd of people coming together with one voice and speaking up against the cruel practices of the animal agriculture industry. Some of you think, especially those who are non-vegan who are maybe watching this, stop forcing your views on us. Why are you disrupting? Why are you disrupting our lives? This is wrong. Just send emails, write letters. Just talk to people. Don't be protesting. Don't be disrupting our lives. Don't be coming onto the streets and shouting and ramming it down our throats. What's that going to do? You know, it's funny. When I post videos of slaughterhouse practices and animal abuse, farmed animal abuse, I get a lot of comments saying, this isn't going to work, Dan. This doesn't work. This just puts people off. This just makes people go and eat more meat, go and eat more dairy, go and eat more eggs, go and eat more fish. Suddenly everyone becomes an expert on how to push change in society. Everybody becomes an expert. And they tell me that my methods don't work. They tell me that the direct action guys walking into restaurants, that doesn't work. It just gets people's backs up. Going on mass protest marches and blocking streets, causing people to be late for work, that's not going to do anything. It's just going to get people annoyed. It's going to get people's backs up. Yeah, but they take fucking notice, don't they? They take fucking notice. Last month, a congressman called John Lewis died, and he was one of the surviving members of the civil rights movement. I'm going to show you a little bit of video now. about his life and what he did, and then we'll talk further.
If at every stage of America's civil rights movement there was a king front and center, there was nearly always a young prince alongside, John Lewis. The son of sharecroppers, he began protesting when just 20 years old, there on the March on Washington, on the buses in Birmingham, and on that bridge in Selma.
And generations from now, when parents teach their children what is meant by courage, the story of John Lewis will come to mind. An American who knew that change could not wait for some other person or some other time.
Lewis was born in 1940 in rural Alabama, when life in the South was dictated by Jim Crow laws which enforced racial segregation. When he started college in Nashville, the movement to end all that was beginning, and Lewis joined the sit-ins, when activists would seat themselves at white-only lunch counters in protest at segregation. Faced with beatings, they would never retaliate.
I was sitting there demanding a God-given right, and my soul became satisfied that I was right in what I was doing. I could no longer be satisfied or go along with an evil system.
In 1961, he became one of the original 13 Freedom Riders, traveling on Greyhound buses through the South to force the desegregation of public transport.
I felt good. I felt happy. I felt liberated. I was like a soldier in a non-violent army.
Lewis was beaten in North Carolina, knocked unconscious in Alabama, and jailed in Mississippi. Such attacks in the face of peaceful protest shocked the world and forced Americans to confront the true nature and extent of racism in their nation. At 23, he helped organize the March on Washington, where Dr. King preached his American dream. Lewis spoke as well. He was, until now, the only surviving speaker from that day.
We are tired. We are tired of being beaten by policemen. We're tired of seeing our people locked up in jail over and over again. And then you holler, be patient. How long can we be patient? We want our freedom, and we want it now.
Soon Lewis and others would turn to voting rights, trying to help African Americans to register when so many barriers were placed in their way. They planned to march from Selma to Montgomery in Alabama. Yet they were met on the Edmund Pettus Bridge by state troopers who charged at them. And who was at the front line, taking yet another beating for his cause?
They came toward us, beating us with nightsticks, bullwhips, trapping us with horses. This is me here.
50 years later, Lewis returned in a different time with a very different president.
If someone had told me when we were crossing this bridge that one day I will be back here introducing the first African-American president, I would have said, you're crazy, you're out of your mind, you don't know what you're talking about.
So as you can see, how much trouble did those protests cause? How much trouble? You know, and it's... If the animals could speak, that's what the animals would be doing. They would be protesting, they would be shouting, they would be screaming. But they can't. And that's where we come in. That's where we come in. We have to speak on their behalf. We have to cause a bit of civil unrest, a bit of civil disobedience, cause a bit of inconvenience to people, to government profit. Because just asking people to stop this senseless abuse, torture, enslavement, oppression, murder, kidnap, rape of sentient fellow earthlings is not enough. This guy got arrested. This guy got beaten. John Lewis went through hell, but he was fighting for a just cause. And it was perfectly legal to segregate blacks from whites. Perfectly legal. So this argument that farming and slaughter of animals is legal doesn't stack up at all. because that was legal. Segregation was legal. So we've got to cause some unrest. We've got to make people listen. We've got to cause inconvenience. We've got to cause people to be offended. Otherwise, nobody's going to listen. We might as well be saying go and hug trees, as far as asking people to stop eating animals. We've got to show slaughterhouse footage. We've got to show the abuse. We've got to go onto farms and in slaughterhouses and capture evidence of the abuse that goes on there. We've got to. And we've got to show it to people. We've got to show it to kids. All these parents, oh, my kid would be horrified. No, they wouldn't. They'd make a decision. Mum, Dad, I don't want to be part of that. That's cruel. That's cruel. That's disgusting. We've got to do these things. And this isn't the only example of civil disobedience and protest. Back in the day, 200 years ago, there was this.
The bitter and bloody events unfolding in St. Petersfield, Manchester 200 years ago inspired this big screen version by the veteran British director Mike Leigh. But what was the Peterloo massacre all about?
60,000 people came from all the surrounding towns in Manchester to hear Henry Hunt, the big speaker of the day, and local speakers to talk about democracy. They were campaigning for the vote, and it was a peaceful demonstration, but then the magistrates and the local authorities sent the cavalry in, read the riot act, and...
So, as you can see there, my hometown of Oldham is represented in this picture.
Killed up to about 18 people, injured up to about 750 more.
So yeah, the Peterloo massacre. A lot of people from around my town and from Oldham, as you saw, met in pubs and they all went down there just for the right to vote. Because at the time, the voting system was just amongst the rich. So of course they got in power whoever they wanted in power, and they got the laws to abuse us. Do you think any change would have happened if people just kept saying to the rich, oh stop, give us the vote please, please give us the vote, allow us to vote? No, because they wanted to keep in power the people that benefited them, that allowed them to have kids working in cotton mills at 6 and 7 years old, that allowed them to have us working 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, in dangerous, dirty, disgusting conditions. Gandhi did the salt protest. And it took time, yeah. John Lewis became a congressman and things got better after 30 years. Yeah, it's a long drawn out process, but it happened. From segregation to black people in power, even a president. But nothing would have happened if those people had kept quiet and said nothing and done nothing. Rosa Parks getting on the bus and not giving up a seat. That would have got loads of people against her. How dare she? You know? So when people tell me that I shouldn't be doing this and I shouldn't be doing that, and I shouldn't post this stuff, and I shouldn't say this to people, and I shouldn't call people animal abusers, and I shouldn't say vegetarians aren't going far enough, and I don't care. What do they know? Go and look at the slaughterhouse footage, watch it. Go and go to a vigil, see what's happening over there. It's not enough. It's not enough. We need to make our voices heard because our voices represent the animals. Just going plant-based or vegan is not enough. It helps. It helps drop the demand. But it does nothing to push change. And that's what we need to do, is push change. Not only push change, we need to kick change into being. Kick it into being. Don't be silent. Don't be silent because it's not enough. Join marches, look for groups, join action. Post whatever you want on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Post it. Because people ain't going to change by asking them nicely. People won't change. I mean, it doesn't have to be civil disobedience or protest marches. If you've got the guts, you can go and do something like this.
Let's see why the public don't want to eat dog meat, but they're happy to eat other animals, hey? No, this is made out of dogs.
Oh.
Dogs? So you don't have to eat dogs to get protein and iron?
No, but you eat the dog.
You eat cows?
I didn't know.
What's the difference? What's the difference morally?
No, it's I don't. No, I just think it's wrong.
I think eating cows is wrong.
And I think
but these dogs are going to be killed anyway.
China, Vietnam, why are they going to be killed?
Because they get killed in the shelters. Because no, they can't get a home, so we offer them to people for protein.
Why don't you offer them to the homeless people?
We all got to eat something, so...
Offer them to the homeless. They benefit more than we would. We can choose.
Is eating... You don't want to eat... So you'd rather eat cows and pigs and...
No, I'm not a great meat eater, so I don't eat a lot of meat. Is that dog?
This is, that's free range, so
it's... From a dog?
Yeah.
It's
humane.
Yeah, oh, that's bad, is that?
It's bad?
Yeah, I'm right.
Are you vegetarian?
To give to the dog. Would you try it?
Are you vegetarian?
I wouldn't vomit. No, I've got dogs.
You've got dogs at home?
Yeah, no, I think that's disgusting.
I've got a pet cow at home. Do you eat cows?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, see, I've got pet cows at home.
But it's natural, everyone eats it.
Yeah, this is natural. People eat dogs all around the world.
Not here. The fact of eating that. You've got a picture in your mind.
Yeah, because you're thinking of... Yeah, exactly.
So it's just going to make you feel...
So I think of the pigs and the cows when people eat those as well, but I think eating dogs is fine because they do in China. 30 million dogs are killed every year for food.
And all them diseases and stuff they've got in China because of that.
Yeah, where did swine flu come from?
Putting bats in soup and all that.
Where did swine flu come from?
I just think that's disgusting.
Yeah, well, there's no real difference to me. I mean, it's a steak.
You'd be allowed to, you know... I know some parts of Africa...
Yeah, no, this is British raised, so it's all done humanely.
I just thought it was for dogs. I'm not interested in that.
So as you can see, Joey there has just like used his brain, thought about what people value, how they see dogs and how they separate dogs, and they've got this separation of dogs from pigs, from cows, chickens to cats. This, how we've put them in categories, separated them. These are friends, these are food. And people don't see the hypocrisy. People don't see the hypocrisy, but this is how you can promote change, is to get people thinking, get out there on the streets. There's plenty of ways to help change happen and be a voice for the voiceless. There's plenty of ways, but you need to come out of your comfort zone. You really need to come out of your comfort zone. You need to think, what I can do, where can I go? Those animals are in turmoil, in hell, in pain, in suffering. Those animals can't speak up. Those animals haven't got a voice. All those animals have got are screams of anguish. That's all they've got. So we need to speak up for them. And while you as a vegan are sat there at home, eating your plant-based food, those animals are stashed in pens, in sheds, never seen daylight, in fear, abused, kicked, punched, raped, have their children taken away from them, never see a day in the life like male chicks in the egg industry. All these animals are suffering every second of every minute, of every hour, of every day, forever at the moment. And that's what we need to change. Save the planet, save the animals, save yourself. Go vegan.